Okay, we are live. Let's see here. What happened here? Okay. Um, that's better. No, hold on. Oh, now you can see me, hopefully. Okay. So I'm going to follow up on yesterday's live stream. And we talked about, what's it called? Faith office, Trump's faith office, where they will protect especially Christian values from discrimination, which which is hilarious. But hi there, Luke and Mom. We're going to talk about Jesus. Um, and I find Jesus to be a fascinating character. Obviously, an important character. We're not going to get into a discussion whether was Jesus real and so on and so on. In this context, that doesn't matter so much, because the image, the character is important, and I mean it's the definition of Christianity. Do you welcome Jesus? Do you accept Jesus as the Son of God, and so on? And I think that Jesus is becoming a little bit too woke for the Christian nationalists in the USA, US of A. We get people here already. It's based on reality. Let's not discuss that. Doesn't matter in this context. And this discussion will not be for popular. It's not going to be popular. It's just going to be there's nothing new there. But yeah. Now, why am I on so early? Because I woke up with a terrible headache. Well, actually, not a terrible headache, but quite a substantial headache. I have been doing my writing, because when it's like that, I need to get up. And what better to do? No, I have nothing better to do than to just start working. Now I finished with my work. I've actually finished my work for today, which is crazy. And so I thought we would have a discussion about this. I find it fascinating what's going on in the USA now. I'm going to get to Europe, or continental Europe, and what's going on there. I will get to that, but I thought I would just continue on this discussion that we are having, this conversation that we are having about what's going on in the USA. Because, I mean, we Europeans are looking at the USA now in disbelief. Where is the USA that we love? Where is the USA that I mean, it's almost getting unrecognizable now. Now, I realize that we are looking at at what is presented to us through the news, so that's not representative, of course. But and also, I mean, if you only look at the mainstream news, they hate Trump, so it's not going to be objective. Um, but still, what's going on over there? I mean, are you going crazy? What's going on? It's the crazy train. The Trump crazy train is just full steam ahead now. Okay. So I thought that since Trump and his comrades are so obsessed with protecting Christianity, because they live in this delusion that Christianity is under attack in the USA. Um, I thought we would look at Jesus. Now, I'm not a Christian myself, but I will say that some of the best people I have met, actually, and some of the worst, but some of the best people I have met have been Christians. Kind, forgiving, people involved in charity, not judgmental at all. Um, and I think those people are living very true to Christianity. That's my opinion. And I think that the image of Jesus, or the character, the character of Jesus, the idea of Jesus, has to do with love and forgiving, which is something I think that we need more of in this world. Now, as a Norse heathen, I'm not big on forgiving, and you need to look into how that works, but that's for another time. I thought that we will look at some of the things that, if we look at the story of Jesus, and we will not discuss here what is true, what is just a myth, and so on. Some people will say it's all a myth, and some people will say it's all true. We will not discuss that now. We will, as I said, look at the image, the idea, the character, because that's what matters, should matter to Christians and non-Christians. So before I do that, keep in mind the policies coming from the Oval Office, that funny room where so much crazy stuff has gone down in the past. Look at the policies, and just the slogan "America First," which is it's a good slogan, and I can certainly understand the sentiment there. But is that very Christian? As you will see, and as you will see, I have already arrived at the conclusion that that goes against Christianity. It goes against the teachings of Jesus. And I think that Jesus is much too, let's use a popular term, woke for the Christian nationalists, which is funny. But let's look at what Jesus did, um, and I have a list here. Made a list. Well, actually, I didn't make a list, but this is from an article. I'll try to link to that. I don't agree with everything in the article, but there are some good points there. The chat is going crazy, which is good. So first up here, Jesus practiced inclusivity and acceptance. I mean, he didn't stigmatize people. He was not judgmental. He would eat with prostitutes. He would welcome lepers. He would, tax collectors. They were hated back then. But he would not be judgmental, and he would welcome them. And that's Luke 15:2. The Pharisees and the scribes, they didn't like that so much. And they said, this man, he welcomes sinners and eats with them. So they didn't like that so much about Jesus. And Jesus challenged injustice, didn't he? And he confronted religious leaders in his time. And that was Matthew. I have read not the entire Bible, but I mean, it's large parts of the Bible. Matthew 21, 12 to 13. That's where he kicked over the tables in the temple, wasn't it? Because he didn't like the way they were commercializing things there. And basically, he stood up for those in need, and that's the thing that I admire most with true Christianity. It's this selfless attitude, and you help people. And he would side with the poor, standing with the oppressed, and so on. And I think that it's we are painting a picture here of a prophet, right? Jesus, a prophet, in Christianity, in the Christian faith, which is very different from the people preaching that faith or claiming to preach that faith among the Christian nationalists. And here's the woke thing, the most woke thing. And yes, there are many things that Jesus has, that the Bible is quoted on many things. I don't agree with everything, of course, and I'm not even a Christian. I've said that many times. And I especially remember one part there where there was a person who was mad, and he drew the spirits out, the bad spirits, and threw them into some sheep, and cured the man that way. What did that sheep do to deserve that? I disagree with all of that. But anyway, let's continue on the woke list here. I mean, this thing is, you can't deny that Jesus embraced diversity. And the people most marginalized and most hated in his time, he would eat with them, he would welcome them. And the Samaritans were not seen as good people. So he was asked, how is it that you, who is a Jew, is asking for a drink of me, a woman of Samaria? So he also called out the leaders, so he condemned leaders who would tie up heavy burdens that are hard to bear, lay them on the shoulders of others, but they themselves are unwilling to lift a finger to move them. And he cared for the vulnerable, what's that quote? It doesn't say here in this article, but no, I can't remember now. But it's basically the living in such a way that you are showing people how to live through helping others, through being selfless, through not being so concerned with gathering material wealth for yourself. Oh, yes. Luke, I'll get to that. That's an extremely good point. I will get to that. Yes, I get frustrated by that as well. Let me just get to through my little list here. Yeah, forgiveness. I mean, that's a main part of Christianity, isn't it? Turn the other cheek and all that. I don't agree with that, but I'm not a Christian. And also, you have the golden rule: do unto others as, how is it in English? Do unto others, as maybe it says here. Do to others as you would have them do to you. Luke 6:31. You know? Um, and Jesus instructs us to seek the highest and best interests of others, all others, and no exceptions there. Um, let's get through the list here. Yeah, he was quite big on equality. We're all equal under God. That principle there. So, the list could go on and on. Basically, isn't this a contrast to what we are seeing coming from the new government in the USA now? Isn't this a big contrast to the mega churches where the pastors are making themselves filthy rich? And isn't this a huge contrast to the slogan, America First? Because if you're a true Christian, you should care about all people. I mean, people who are in your country, outside of your country. I get that you can't be an idiot about things, but I hope that some people out there are getting what I'm trying to say here. And I'm tired. I have a headache. It's very early here, but it's to me, it's insane that these people are calling themselves Christians, because in my mind they're not. And I'm going to say one thing that will provoke some people. I've said many things that will provoke people already, but I don't see Trump as a Christian. And that's fair. That's fair enough. I think actually it's good. Um, it's good if we have a person being president in the USA who will just, some things need to change, but don't come to me, Mr. Trump, and all your little ones. Don't come to me and talk Christianity, because that's sickening and disgusting. Okay? Don't do that. Because I don't respect that. I respect Christians who are being Christians. I don't respect Christians who claim to be Christians and they use Christianity. They enrich themselves. They use their religion to be cruel to other people.